Atlassian Rovo Agents and Jira Open Beta, 80% of teams experience significant sprint rollover. Only half of retro action items get completed. Yesterday, I talked about what irreplaceable actually means. Today, we get into the first skill that gets you there, systems thinking. Now, I know what you're thinking. Danny, that sounds like a LinkedIn buzzword, and you're right, it usually is. People throw systems thinking on the resume right next to servant leader and change agent. It means absolutely nothing without the proper context. So let me tell you what I actually mean. Systems thinking is the ability to look at how work flows through an organization and identify where it breaks, not at the team level, at the system level. Why does this team consistently miss sprint commitments? Why does that initiative take 4 months to get from idea to production? Why do we have 17 people in a planning meeting and nobody can tell what you're actually building? Most Scrum Masters and Agile coaches operate at the ceremony level. They run stand-ups, they facilitate retros, track velocity, and here's the uncomfortable truth. AI can do all of that now. Atlassian just launched Rovo Agents in Jira in open beta. You can assign work to AI agents. They operate in comments. They embed directly into workflows. The administrative layer of Agile, the tracking, the summarizing, the status reporting, that's being automated right now by the company that makes the tools we all use. So if your value proposition is, I run good stand-ups and keep the board updated, you've got a big problem. But here's what AI can't do. It can't walk into a room where 3 directors are arguing about priority and figure out what the real issue is, a shared dependency nobody's made visible. It can't look at a value stream and realize that the 2-week delay isn't a development problem, it's a handoff problem between teams that don't talk to each other. You can't sit in a retro and notice that the same pattern keeps repeating because the incentive structure rewards local optimization over system-wide flow. That's the systems thinking. And it's the hardest thing to automate because it requires context, judgment, and the ability to navigate organizational politics. Let me give you a concrete example. At a previous Fortune 500 client in a regulated industry, I inherited a delivery system where teams were estimating work, committing to sprints, and missing about 40% of the time. The retros were producing action items, but guess how many of those action items were actually getting implemented? Maybe half, maybe none? Sound familiar? Industry data backs this up. Research shows 80% of Agile teams experience significant sprint rollover, and only about half of retrospective insights turn into implemented changes. And that's not a team problem. That's a system problem. What I did wasn't complicated. I mapped the actual flow of work, not the theoretical flow, in the process diagram, the real one, where decisions got stuck, where handoffs created delays, where approvals added 3 days that nobody accounted for in planning. Then I built visibility into those bottlenecks. Not a dashboard for the sake of a dashboard, actual signals that told leadership where the system was breaking. And I connected those signals to Jira automation that flagged risks before they became missed commitments. The teams didn't need better stand-ups. They needed someone who could see the system and redesign how work actually moved through it. The Agile industry is finally catching up to this. The big trend in 2026 isn't Scrum versus Kanban or safe versus less, or that framework versus this framework. That debate is over. The real shift is from team-level Agile practices to enterprise-wide agility measured by strategic speed, flow of value, and leadership decision-making. Not ceremonies, not velocity. If you want to build the skill, start here. Pick one value stream in your organization. Map how a feature actually moves from idea to production. Not the ideal state, the real state. Every handoff, every approval, every queue, and time each one. I guarantee you'll find that at least half the total cycle time is wait time, not work time, and that's where you add value that no AI agent can touch. Tomorrow, we go to skill number 2, automation architecture. Because seeing the system isn't enough. You have to be able to build solutions. Subscribe if you haven't, and visit careeroptional.ai for more. If you want to start building these skills, grab the free Agile AI prompt playbook at agiletactics.ai/blueprint. It's 5 prompts designed to help you think at the systems level using AI with your real data, not generic examples. I'm Danny Liu. This is Career Optional. See you next time.